Can the House please come to order? Okay. I warmly welcome you to the closing ceremony of the Oldenburg Model United Nations 2021. My name is Caroline Renz. I am 18 years old and this year's Deputy President of the General Assembly.
And my name is Tristan Leoluca Farinella. I'm 19 years old and I'm this year's President of the General Assembly.
I hope you all had a nice OLMUN week, getting to know each other, discussing your committee's topics, and creating and passing resolutions. I am now starting with the roll call. If you are present, please put up your digital hand and put it down after like 10 seconds. Algeria. Argentina. Armenia. Australia. Bahamas. Bangladesh. Bangladesh. It seems like Bangladesh is not present. Belarus. Belgium. Belgium. Bolivia. Botswana. Brazil. Brunei Darussalam. Bulgaria. Cambodia. Cambodia. So it seems like Cambodia isn't present. Canada. Chile. China. Congo. Costa Rica. Costa Rica. It seems like Costa Rica isn't present. Cuba. Czech Republic. Czech Republic. It seems like Czech Republic is not present. Denmark. Ecuador. Egypt. Egypt. It seems like Egypt isn't present. Equatorial Guinea. Eritrea. Estonia. Estonia. Estonia seems to be not present. Ethiopia. Finland. France, Germany, Germany. So Germany is not present. Guatemala, Guatemala. So it seems like Guatemala is not present as well. India, Indonesia, Iran, Ireland, Israel, Jamaica, Jamaica. It seems like Jamaica is not present. Japan, Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan. It seems like the delegation of Kazakhstan is not present. Kenya, Lao People's Democratic Republic, Latvia,
Present.
Thank you. Libya, may the delegation of Libya please raise their digital hand if they are present. Seems like they're not. Luxembourg, Malaysia, Mauritania, Mexico, Myanmar, Myanmar. Seems like Myanmar is not present. Namibia, Namibia. Seems like the delegation of Namibia is not present as well. Nepal, Netherlands, Netherlands, New Zealand, Niger, Norway, Norway. It seems like Norway is not present. Panama, may Panama please raise the digital hand if they are present? Seems they are not. Papua New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, seems like Papua New Guinea is not present. Philippines, Poland, Portugal, Republic of Korea, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Senegal, Singapore, South Africa, South Africa, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Sweden, Sweden. Seems like Sweden is not present. Switzerland, Switzerland. Seems like Switzerland is not present as well. Thailand, Timor-Leste, Timor-Leste. Seems like Timor-Leste is not present. Tunisia, Turkey, Turkmenistan, United Kingdom, United States of America, Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan. Seems like Uzbekistan is not present. Venezuela, Vietnam, Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe. Seems like Zimbabwe is not present. Greenpeace, Greenpeace. Reporters Without Borders. Okay, thank you all very much. We will now start with the committee presentations. The chairs and presidents of each committee have created PowerPoint slides that will give some insights into their committee's work this week. We will start with the presidents of the ECOSOC, Anja and Ivan Carlo. You now have the floor. Thank you very much. Next up, we have the chairs of the UNEP, Kian and Lisbeth.
I will yield the floor back.
Thank you. Next up, we have the chairs of the HRC, Per and Tom.
Thank you. Honorable Presidency, fellow chairs, distinguished delegates, dear guests. My name is Per.
Yeah, my name is Tom. Sorry, connection issues, I think, for both of us.
This year in the Human Rights Council, we tackled the question of counteracting the violation of human rights by law enforcement agencies. We saw 2 successful resolutions passed on the floor submitted by the delegates of France and Eritrea.
Point of order referring to audibility. We cannot hear what the chairs are saying. Thank you.
Is it now better?
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Sorry about that. I said that we had a lot of first-time delegates that we are very proud of. First of all, for showing up to their first MUN, especially now that it was a little different than we all expected. For writing resolutions, raising points of information, and delivering speeches. And we want to really applaud all of them for the courage.
But as you might be able to tell from our slide, life was an hour series in the HRC. During a debate, Venezuela and the Philippines argued which countries' police forces had killed the most innocent civilians, and the chair stepped into the role of Troy Bolton and Gabriela Lopez for their very own personal breaking free moment. And we also saw delegates promote their own Instagram, saw actual crushes develop, and even learned about which body parts of which delegates appeared.
And last but not least, we had 2 amazing TED Talks by, I would say, very competent and well-prepared speakers on how to eat a healthy diet and their new startup project involving 2,437 liters of rum. We learned not only to not trust French food, but more crucially, not to trust French babies. About tourism opportunities in Chernobyl, there's a necessity of earning money by putting things where they don't belong. But foremost, I think we all learned about how fruitful life can be, both in and outside of debates. And thank you again, delegates of the HRC, And we really hope to see you again, maybe at the next OLMUN, and wish you only the best. Stay fruitful, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, and we give the floor back to the presidency.
Thank you. We now have the last morning show.
Welcome to the last episode of the OLMUN Morning Show. My name is Johanna Briem and I'm the host of the show. Welcome. Today is the last day of the OLMUN 2021. Yesterday and the day before, you and your fellow delegates held debates about your committee's specific topic and created resolutions issuing these topics. Today's committee session will conclude your work within the committees. The evening activities were much different from the past years, but the quiz night, the game night and the show night yesterday were a great success. Here are some impressions of the last night's show night.
It's all muted, so maybe the technical management can mute themselves so we can hear video.
Welcome to the last episode of the OLMUN Morning Show. My name is Johanna Briem and I'm the host of the show. Welcome. Today is the last day of the OLMUN 2021. Yesterday and the day before, you and your fellow delegates held debates about your committee's specific topic and created resolutions issuing these topics. Today's committee session will conclude your work within the committees. The evening activities were much different from the past years, but the quiz night, the game night and the show night yesterday were a great success. Here are some impressions of the last night's show night. As every year, there are a few delegates who weren't always quite on their best behavior. Sometimes they don't wear the correct dress code, sometimes they are late for committee sessions, or they talk when they shouldn't. But their punishments given to them by their chairs or presidents are often great to laugh about for the other delegates. You can have a look and a laugh at the best punishments of this year's conference.
The delegation of China gets no love from the other delegations. So we need love from you. Everyone bullies China just because we are a bit different. But you are that rude. You always give me the floor enthusiastic and full of love. Trust me, I can see it in your sweet eyes. Do we want to become a couple? Yes, no, maybe. With big desire for you, China. Clapping is in order.
I will introduce you to the last timetable of the OLMUN Conference 2021. After your committee session, the closing ceremony will start at 2 p.m. After 2 hours, the OLMUN 2021 will officially be closed, and we hope to see you again next year. What would this morning's show be without outtakes? We will show you some of the best outtakes and fun on set during this week, so you can have a laugh. Looking back at the past week, we are proud to see how great the concept of combining an in-person and an online conference worked out. Although technical issues in committee sessions and evening activities couldn't be avoided completely, the plan of this year's OLMUN conference became reality. It was possible for delegates from all over the world to participate despite COVID-19. We are looking forward to seeing many delegates in person again next year. So see you at OLMUN 2022 next June, and thank you for watching the OLMUN Morning Show. Bye.
Thank you very much for this last really great news show. We will now go on with the committee presentations. Next we have the chairs of the SPC, Jas and Johannes.
Thank you. Honorable Secretariat, distinguished members of the Inner Circle, esteemed advisors, and dear delegates. My name is Herdem Yazbölükbaşı, and I'm a 16-year-old high school student from Istanbul, Turkey. In this speech, I would first like to thank all of the OLMUN staff for selecting us as chairs. It was a big honor to chair this special committee. The topic of our committee was ensuring a life worth living through protecting the human rights of stateless people. For the last 3 days, our delegates were working really hard to create resolutions and participate in fruitful discussions. In the end, we managed to discuss 3 total resolutions and passed 2 of them. For that, I'm really proud of our delegates and I would like to congratulate them. Now, I would like to move to our presentation to highlight some of the moments from our committee. Our delegates voted to give awards to certain members of the committee, so now I would like to announce them. First, the Best Delegate Award was won by France. We would like to congratulate the delegate of France. Second award was the Best Dressed Award, which actually my co-chair won, even though he attended with shorts the whole committee. Third award is the Best Ship Award, and the ship of Ecuador and Botswana won that award. Fourth award was Best Hair, which Equatorial Guinea won. And again, France won another award, which was the Best Networker Award. So now I would like to give the floor to my co-chair.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would, yes, okay, it's working now. Dear Mr. President, fellow co-chairs, esteemed delegates and honorable guests. My name is Johannes Tromm and I'm a student from Bochum, Germany, but I now live in Berlin. And I would also like to thank all the people involved in the planning of OLMUN 2021, and especially the Secretariat for making this year's OLMUN an incredible experience despite the online setting. Additionally, we would like to thank all the delegates participating at OLMUN 21 for engaging in all different types of discussions. We hope that you delegates also had a lot of fun at OLMUN, and we are hoping to see all of you next year in Oldenburg. On the left-hand side of our slide, you can see a few quotes from the gossip box. One picture sadly is missing because it reached us a few minutes after we sent in the PowerPoint presentation, which showed me looking very bored and tired. A very beautiful Photoshop artwork. So thank you very much for sending that in as well. And on the right-hand side, of course, you can see our committee, the special conference. Once again, thank you very much to the Secretariat and everyone involved in planning the OLMUN 2021 conference. and we hope to see you next year in Oldenburg.
And we yield the floor back to the Deputy President.
Thank you. We now have the chairs of the UN Women, Marlene and Pia. The floor is yours.
Honorable President, okay, I will wait because it's always weird at the beginning. Is it now better? Okay, perfect. So, Honorable Presidency, fellow chairs, esteemed delegates, and members of the press, members of the staff, and of course, the technical management. I, speaking for the UN Women, would like to thank you all for making this conference possible. As much as the pandemic restricts us from the way that we're used to, it teaches us so much more. And I'm sure that through this year's conference, we all grew so much and we learned how to overcome challenges and, of course, to be as creative as possible. Also, this committee showed us again how important it is to work together as a team. We in the UN Women Committee very much work together, the chairs and the delegates. And I would also like to thank all delegates, especially the first-timers, to participate, to hand in amendments, and to create the fruitful debates we had. We were able to discuss 3 resolutions and 2 of them passed. And of course, I would also like to thank my amazing co-chair Pia, and will now yield the floor to her in order that, or so that she can present our little slide and our funny stories.
Thank you very much. I would also like to thank my co-chair. It was a lot of fun working together with you. In our committee, we wanted to focus this year's topic, which was self-determination of women, especially on kind of biologistical reasoning for the discrimination of women. And we especially wanted to include so-called taboo subjects, or subjects that are taboo, like menstruation and contraception. So we discussed the stigma of menstruation, but also measures that can be taken against female genital mutilation, and all of the debates are very interesting discussions between what's more important, safety or freedom, and so on. We had a little interjection of the second clause, the second amendment of an amendment, which made things a little confusing for the whole committee for a while, as you can see. But the chairs together and also the delegates helped, so we were able to solve that problem very quickly. Also, we always hope to educate the humans around us, but as you can see, we also had some non-humans joining us and hope that they enjoyed it as well. And some of you presented awards in your committees, which we also did, but I think if we had an inter-committee challenge, and I think our committee would win we have the most different hair colors in our committee award. I don't know if there's a statistic for that, but I challenge all of you, and I think we're gonna win. And we yield our time back to the president.
Thank you. You now have a 10-minute break, I would say. I know in the presentation it says 15, but I would like to shorten it to 10. Please be back in front of your PC at 2:45 p.m. Thank you. We will continue in 30 seconds and wait until everybody is back in front of their PC. We are now continuing with the committee presentations. The chairs of the corpus. We are now continuing with the committee presentations. The chairs of the corpus, Chiara and Julie, you have the floor.
Hi. Like, I guess, but it will, I guess. So, honorable president, distinguished delegate, dear guest. Whoa, it's so weird. I'm so Okay, I'm sorry, I just had some issues. Honorable presidents, distinguished delegates, and dear guests, Chiara Hashu and I were the chairs of the committee. So, okay. We were grateful to attend this conference and enjoyed all the fruitful debates. In our committee, we were talking about setting regulatory provisions for ensuring safe access into, operation in, and return from outer space to Earth. I believe it's really nice that these topics like these are being discussed during MUN, since in my experience, I did not come across topics like these. I just want to add that we are really proud of our delegates and of what they put out there the last couple of days.
So, delegates has ways of sharing information to make space more accessible for all countries and make operations safer into space and return. We have also some real good solutions, and except for some technical issues, everything ran quite smoothly. We are really thankful for everything. We really like all the delegates for participating in this online conference. We hope they all had a wonderful time and will be back next year. We also would like to thank all people involved in the organization of this amazing conference. We yield the floor back to the presidency.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now go on, but if you have any points of information or personal privilege, please send a message to the chat. And I would like to say that somebody seems to mute or technical management, and I would wish that they would stop it, so we can have a great closing ceremony. We will now go on with the chairs of the ASEAN, Rasmus and Yunus. You now have the floor.
Honorable Presidency, dear institutions, which tackled the problem quite well. And during the week, we had a guest speaker who gave us some interesting input on the topic with a lot of experience in living in Southeast Asia and a lot of examples of modern architecture and city planning to tackle the issue. And
a person who works for the staffs. And in the picture, you can see us all posing with our fabulous ties. In the left corner, you can, I hope you can read it, but it says, "Does Thailand love to look at the window, or is it just the reflection of his face he loves to look at?" This was a special shout out to the delegate of Thailand there. And yeah, on the right, top right corner, you can see us dancing the Finnish polka. And apparently me and Rasmus impressed quite a lot because later our dancing skills were described as being divine. So yes, and during the conference we also obtained great new nicknames. Rasmus was known as the Chief Duck, and I became known as the Squirrel Rapper. I guess you can figure why that is if you've seen the morning show. And furthermore, the delegates seem to have figured out our motivations behind being chairs. So we got a note saying the reasons Eunice and Rasmus became chairs: first, to punish delegates, and second, to flex their dancing skills. So yeah, it was very fun, and I'm really glad I did this, and to work with Rasmus was a treat. And yeah, thank you to everyone who participated. And we yield the floor back to the presidency.
Kaya, the floor is yours.
I believe that my co-chair is here as well, Dennis Kirsch.
Yes, I'm also here. Honorable Presidency, Honorable Secretary General, distinguished chairs and president, distinguished delegates and MEN directors. I'm Dennis Kirsch. I was this year's president of the Security Council, and yeah, it was my last time chairing now after having become an MUN dinosaur and OLMUN dinosaur after a while. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to say from my side than thank you for everyone for making this conference possible today. And I think I'm also then just giving and yielding the floor now for the last time to my co-chair Ru, who's gonna introduce the Security Council.
Thank you, Dennis. That was very emotional. I think clapping is in order for you. All right, thank you for everything, Dennis. All right, so I'm Rukai Zaki. I'm a 19-year-old law student from Leiden, and along with Dennis, I chaired the Security Council, and I can only say that we had so much fun, and it was amazing, really beyond our expectations. We discussed the issues of terrorism and climate change in the Sahel region in Africa, And with it being online, my co-chair and I, we expected a lot of awkward silences and a lot of these moments where we'd be like, oh, delegate, your microphone, you're muted, etc. And we were actually pretty wrong. It was really full of enthusiastic debate and blossoming friendships. I even popped up in the unmoderated caucuses for a few times without the delegates knowing, and I just saw them talking to each other like in a friendship way, and but still being really polite. They were like, the delegate of Mexico doesn't agree, and it was just like really cute. And of course, technical issues happened. That always happens. My co-chair, for example, he was screen sharing a timer, but then he switched tabs, and he didn't know that. And then all the committee was able to watch him watching Germany playing soccer. So that was really fun. But also, I had an entire speech. I was like talking and talking with my hands and stuff, and I was on mute the entire time. And then lastly, we also had my co-chair. He was trying to type out shift in the chat, but he accidentally typed out shit, and he didn't notice, and everybody was just like trying to not laugh. Along with this, we got a lot of memes in the gossip box. I was really, really happy about that. It was a lot about the delegate of China vetoing a resolution that we had discussed for like 5 hours. But you know, that happens. And with this committee actually being the first time for a lot of our delegates, me and my co-chair were so proud of the resolutions and the speeches that were being held and the resolutions that passed. And while I can't say really anything else, then we really encourage all the delegates, everybody, not just from the Security Council, but all the delegates that have joined OLMUN to participate in more MUNs to further develop their proficiency in self-esteem, public speaking, and of course, hopefully partying again with all the other delegates soon. So I would like to thank everyone for their presence here and hopefully see you at OLMUN 2021. The presidency of the Security Council yields the floor back to the Deputy President.
Thank you. And thank you all for sharing those nice impressions. We have now speaking Hendrik Ebel, Deputy Secretary General of OLMUN 2021. The floor is yours.
Most Honorable Presidency and Secretary General, most distinguished delegates, eminent MUN directors, dear staff and guests. 450 days ago, we had to realize that we would not be able to responsibly implement a 20th OLMUN conference in the situation of COVID-19 pandemic. What nobody would ever thought possible came true. There was an OLMUN year without a conference in Oldenburg with many national and international participants. All the planning that the inner circle with its 30 members had already started in September 2019 was in vain. All the plans for a big anniversary conference with many surprises for you participants could not be realized. The disappointment was unbelievable. And now, in June 2021, the world looks a little different again. COVID-19 has remained, but what we thought impossible in November 2020 has happened. We were able to hold an OLMUN conference. Of course, this year's OLMUN cannot be compared to the last one, but we were able to give you the opportunity, whether in the 2 committees that were allowed to meet in person or in the 6 committees that held their sessions online, to discuss world politics with other young people and to work out solutions for international matters. And after a few hours ago, neither different time zones nor the physical separations from the delegates stood in the way of fruitful debates. The conference started on Tuesday, when we were allowed to celebrate the opening ceremony after an introduction. As a member of the Secretariat, I can say that at first it was very unusual not to sit in front of 800 people, but only look at 3 technicians who were in the background making sure everything went smoothly. But after the speech of the Secretary General Anne zur Horst, the opening video and the opening speeches of individual delegations, the OLMUN spirit was very widespread. We were also very pleased about the interesting speeches and impressions that David McAllister, Chair of the European Foreign Affairs Committee, and Roderich Kiesewetter, Chair of the Parliamentary Oversight Panel of the German Bundestag, gave us at the 20th conference in Oldenburg. The contents of the thematically different but both very moving speeches were inspiring, and we were very thankful that the speakers also found time for the interesting question and answer sessions. We were very thrilled to be able to win the German Foreign Minister, Heiko Maas, as a patron of the 20th conference. We would also like to thank our Lord Mayor, Jürgen Krogmann, not only for his greetings, but also for the support of the administration of the city of Oldenburg, who did not stand in the way of our ideas, but very much supported us in our planning. After the official part, we were even more grateful to see the participants of OLMUN 2021 from all countries again on Tuesday evening at the quiz night in a much more relaxed atmosphere. It was very noticeable that the planning of the chiefs of hosting had pleased you very much. On Wednesday, the first session in the 8 committees started with lobbying. Fortunately, major technical difficulties could not be avoided, and after the first hours, the delegates were quickly back in the familiar working mode. Compromises were made to try to capture their country's interests in resolutions, whether in the 2 committees in person or in the 6 committees online. When the resolution reached the digital approval panel, in which terrific MAN directors sacrificed their last hours of free time for us, the results of an exhausting day of work became visible to the delegates. After hours of debates in the committees, the game night on Wednesday evening finally gave us the opportunity to talk to various delegates about their own interests. One topic of conversation was, of course, the punishments, as some delegates were late for the meetings online or did not follow the proper dress code. This year, they had to be carried out according to the COVID-19 rules. But here, too, the chairs knew how to point out the mistakes with special creativity for the entertainment of all delegates and staff. Now, half of the week was already over, but instead of paying attention to the sad fact, the individual committees really thought about every single word. With amendments, each delegation tried to keep its interest in the debated resolutions. If you hadn't seen it for yourself, you would have thought that everyone was sitting in a single room. The OLMUN spirit had reached every single bedroom, classroom, or broom cupboard, regardless of whether it was in Oldenburg, other parts of Germany, the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, Turkey, Indonesia, and other countries. This was also noticeable at the last evening. To strengthen international contacts, the participants had the opportunity to present their unexpected talents in the show night, or, for example, to give interesting reports about their city or country. We would like to thank all people who took part of the experiment for the new impressions. We can say that it was very successful. A few hours ago, you, the delegates of OLMUN 2021, passed the last resolutions. Now it's time to say goodbye and thank you. Of course, thanks go to you, delegates, 216 in number, for your motivation to try out new possibilities in such special times. Without you, OLMUN would not even exist. Thanks also go to the 38 inexhaustible MAN directors and 22 dedicated staff this year in different thematic areas. We also thank the inner circle with the chairs and presidents, as well as the student officer for their organization. As nice as such conference is, it is simply not possible to realize it without financial support. We are very grateful and would like to thank sponsors and supporters: Aktiv Irma, All Season Self-Storage, CEWI, the Copy Team, EWE as well as the EWE Foundation, the Federal Foreign Office, FIPS, Vlogstar, Georg Panja, the LZO Foundation, the Marius Eriksen Foundation, Oldenburg 1 TV and Radio, the City of Oldenburg, Tino Veranstaltungstechnik, and Westerburg Gebrauchtfahrzeuge for recognizing the necessity and importance of political education for young people in these politically challenging times and for generously supporting us. We sincerely hope that you, dear delegates, have taken a lot away from this very special and hopefully unique conference. We would be very happy to welcome you all in 2022 for the 21st International Session of OLMUN, which will take place from June 21st to June 24th in Oldenburg. Then, too, there will be global topics to discuss that will not tolerate any delay. And now I yield the floor back to the President.
Thank you. Now we want to thank each Inner Circle member for their work in the past week and month. Your work was incredible, and without you, this year's OLMUN could not have taken place. We would welcome you to turn your camera on and watch the closing video together with us. Aber dann danach, ich sag ja noch was. The certificates will be sent to your school. Your MUN directors will then hand them out to you. I just wanted to add that. I hereby declare the 20th session of the Oldenburg Model United Nations Conference for officially closed.